Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Back to our live stream here on Twitch. I'm your humble host, Phantom Freak, aka Moistmaster Flex, back here on Monday, back on Twitch. Yeah, hope you guys had a good weekend. Hope you guys had a good Monday, good start to your week. You're back once again with the thick behavior. Sorry, my glasses are really dirty right now. Yeah, I went to Icon 2015, summer 2015 to 2016. I had always heard about Full Sail. I heard it was a pretty good school too. Icon was definitely a lot more EDM focused, and at the time that I was going, it was really music heavy. I mean, most of the students were bass music heavy. Like, Icon doesn't specifically teach any specific genre. They kind of just give you a bunch of tools for you to use. But the students at the time were very bass music heavy, primarily because the big alumni that they had were Slander and Nightmare. So I think that was kind of a motivating factor for a lot of young bass music producers to go to that school. I was probably one of the few house music producers, especially in my class. I think I was just like it was just like me and like one or two other guys. Um, but yeah, it was definitely a really cool school. Congrats on graduating, Monodef. Even if it was online, I think you probably got like a really cool, background. I think it was really cool for me to go in person, even though it was kind of a pain in the ass because I was working full time at the same time as well. So for a full year, I was like working full time, having to go to class at night, and still trying to maintain like an actual fucking life. It was fucking crazy. Um, but yeah, there's all sorts of cool schools out there. Cosmic Academy is a good one. Icon, obviously. I don't know a whole lot about Full Sail, but I've definitely heard good things. There's a couple others out there, but yeah. Um, cool stuff. Cool stuff. Yeah, I would. The reality is, like, I would recommend Icon if you're probably more of like a beginner, an intermediate producer. If you're more like advanced, I don't know if you would probably get the same amount of value out of it. But on the opposite side of that, I would also say that you might get a lot of value out of it because they also teach stuff like music business and branding and kind of like more of like the spiritual aspect of like creation and flow and all that kind of stuff, which is really cool. I think that's it's really kind of a really great all-encompassing kind of school. But any hoops, um, I'm not gonna yap about Icon all day. Here's our here's a bunch of the releases I had recently with this Better Off Alone dub. That's for free download on Yospace. We got Ride from the homie Fox. That's on my label, Thick Freakness. We got Rebirth, which was our spring compilation. Yeah, uh, the reality is teaching kind of like the metaphysical, kind of like more spiritual aspect of creation is really cool. I think it was a lot of stuff that I was kind of already into and kind of like reading about, but it was cool to have like an actual class on it. It was a lot more like free flow and free form. It wasn't really like a organized sort of curriculum for that specific class. It was called the Art of Flow, but yeah, it was really cool. um, we got this release Mazza with Dice, yeah, Dice and MC Kane. Actually, that one just got playlisted over the weekend. We got thrown into a Spotify playlist. This is really cool. I'm really happy to see that. We got Bender from the homie Broshi on my label. We got Daydream with Ali XO on 3000 Deep. We got Fresh Cut Freaks, which is our newcomer compilation. That just came out on Friday. And we just announced this today. We got a single coming from the homie Phantasm on my label. That'll be out on April 18th. So yeah, lots of cool stuff going on. Um, and then here are our upcoming shows for anybody in LA. Um, we got our collaboration show with Cats and Boots this Friday, April 11th. Um, really big lineup there. This one's after hours. It's free to come through. Free RSVP. Just follow that little link there if you guys want to come through. It's gonna be house, breaks, garage, that kind of stuff all night. Um, then we got this one over here. This is a brand new addition. Our garage brunch, a daytime event for people who don't want to go to the after hours at midnight. We're doing a daytime event, April 26th, which is a Saturday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. That one will also be free. That one also has an RSVP. I've been posting about that a lot, but I'll start posting about it more once we get closer to the date. It's a couple weeks away. And then we announced this one last week as well. We're doing a collaboration with Sub 49, which is a label from Seattle. A bunch of homies there. I played a show with them back in December up in Seattle. It was a good time, and this one should be a good time too. We're gonna do it on our home turf here in LA. So yeah, definitely come through to those if you guys are interested in some live house musics. And then lastly here, gonna end my yapping. We got our sponsor, Eargasm Earplugs. If you guys need earplugs for shows, I highly recommend Eargasms. I've had my pair for like fucking well over 2 years now. I've never lost them, thankfully, and they are super useful for shows. I never leave the home without them. So yeah, if you guys need earplugs, definitely go grab some. Hell yeah! All right, so you guys know the deal here. If you guys have already been here, if you guys haven't, basically, I'm taking these in the order I received them on the Google form. I'm prioritizing people that are in the chat. So if I call your name and you're in the chat, you're going to get your track reviewed. If you're not here, I'm going to throw you to the back of the line, unfortunately, just so that it makes it fair for people who are in the chat. If you end up showing up later in the stream, I'll throw you back in the queue. And for whatever reason, if you're like, hey, I got to go to sleep, or I have to go, to work, or I have some other, responsibility right now, you can always skip the line. All you got to do is use your channel points, or you can send money to the bottom left over there. And the amount is entirely up to you. I don't want you guys to break the bank or anything. But you guys are more than happy to skip the line those two ways. Hell yeah. What's up, Bearcat? All right, I'm going to go through the queue right now just so you guys know where you land, and you guys can make your choices by that. Up first, we got Misguided. Then we got Bearcat after that. We got Monodef. Then we got Charred. Then we got Arabis. I guess, I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. Diamond Blend, Freron, Amhad, Leonard Ellis, Cam Likely, Degen, Giorgio, Random, Dicky, Denial? I want to say that's Denial. Denial you sent two, so I'm only going to do the first one, just FY Izzle. Or maybe this one's already released, so I'm actually not going to do this one. I'm going to do the unreleased one. FYI. And then last one we got Housemates. Okay, I'll probably just do the first one on this one. Or I'll let you decide which one you want to listen to. All right, we got Misguided up first. Misguided here in the chat. I think I saw Misguided already. Misguided. Maestro Misguided. Maestro. Aerobis. Aerobis. Okay. All right. We got Misguided up first. Let's give this a listen.
Leaving close, it's only you and me. We can make my baby something real. In the middle of the night, let this wave spread. Just imagine that the ocean in my bed. Step by step, you makes me wanna drown. Let's with me, I know you'd come around. Burning flames inside your dark heart. Say my name, it makes me wanna sound. Just for a moment, give me a hand. I know you feel both, 'cause I'm in your head. You're hypnotized by my deep blue eyes. It's like a water, drink me, my love. Leaving close, it's only you and me. We can make my baby something real. In the middle of the night, let this wave spread. Just imagine that the ocean in my bed. Leaving close, it's only you and me. We can make my baby something real. In the middle of the night, let this wave spread. Just imagine that the ocean in my bed. Just imagine that the ocean in my bed. We can
Nice. Fucking sick here. Um, really, really dope sound design, really good sound selection, really solid groove, really solid swing. Definitely kind of spooky esque type of vibes too. With the little arpeggio, the I guess the little mallet thing. combined with the chords and the vocal kind of has like this haunting sort of vibe to it. Um, I do agree with Monodef that I think that riser is a little bit loud. I think it's that one. That one I just played right now. Right before I guess the drop is kind of basically what that is. Um, Creepy dope vibes. I would push that sub. I think you could, yeah, I think you could probably push the sub a little bit more. I liked the low end primarily from the kick. The kick has a really nice kind of oomph to it, but maybe that sub can probably be boosted a little bit more, especially for this kind of style of music too. I feel like it need a little bit more of a strong part overall, though a vibe, but cool. Yeah, it's spooky. I was vibing with that beat. Yeah, maybe tone down the pan spread. Hmm. Yeah, overall this was a vibe. Let's go to my notes here. Nice chords and arpeggio, very nice low end. Again, like I said, I think the kick has a really nice power and oomph to it, but maybe like the sub can probably be boosted ever so much, ever so slightly. Really nice sound selection and ear candy. I think that's something you did really well with. Is like having like these little random ear candies, little twinkles and stuff that kind of just like added a little bit more spice and sauce. Um, Initially, I put here this could definitely use some sort of vocal hook or flow on top, but obviously that was before the vocal actually came in. So I think primarily is what my main feedback is. I think the vocal just needs to come sooner. I think it needs to come in at the start of this drop here. Because this first, I want to say like 8 bars is just like all beat, and there's no vocal hook there. So I think having the vocal come in sooner is probably the move, because the vocal is like the star of the show essentially here. Um, and then you can kind of whatever kind of cool ear candy and interesting sound design stuff you can kind of do in kind of like your break sections or even like transitional sections where you're going from vocals into say like a break or something like that. You can kind of get a little bit more crazy with the sound design there. I do agree that that riser is a bit loud, so definitely kind of look into that. I love the vocal overall. It adds, um, the tone and the theme here, and overall, it's very well processed. Um, yeah, Shaper Box is fucking goated, man. Yo, what's up, Dicky? Um, and overall, this was very enjoyable to listen to from start to finish. It seemed kind of long for like an R&B kind of more trappy hip hoppy type of sound, but I don't know. I think overall you did a good job of kind of keeping things fresh and interesting and adding in variation. So I wasn't too concerned about that. But primarily, I think the main thing is just making sure that the vocal comes in right at the drop. Otherwise, it kind of feels like this whole kind of section is a little bit more. I don't know. It just feels like it's kind of just like there for fluff. It's not really serving a purpose to have that kind of 8 bar beat before the vocal comes in. I think the vocal needs to start ASAP. Um, yeah, so vocal starts sooner. Maybe boost the sub a little bit more. And what else did I say? Oh yeah, the risers is a little bit loud. Yeah. Other than that, I think everything here sounds great. Um, Really, really dope, vibey tune, Misguided. Hell yeah. Thanks for sending this over. All right. Do we got Bearcat? Yeah, no problem, man. Bearcat in the chat. I just saw Bearcat a second ago. Just making sure you're still here. Young Bearcat. Do. Young Bearcat. Okay, cool. Young Spencer Arnold. Let me check real quick before we jump into Bearcat's tune here. All right, we got BMOC. BMOC. And then Spencer Arnold, I got you. All right. Let's go with Bearcat. Yeah. Let's do it. Nice one. Lots of fucking groove here. It's basically all groove. Let's see what the chat has to say. Uh, 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 a very nice fade in there. Should be great. Nice transitions. Reminds me of Cashew a bit. Not, I don't know if it's my internet, but the timing of the instrument's so funky. Man, house transitions are tough on it. Seems like they're constantly in some stage or another. I start making house and have like 4 lanes of automation per track. first vocal faded when and was epic. Yeah, definitely. I would say definitely good transitions between each section. You definitely feel that change and separation there, for sure. Love the low end here. Both from the kick and the sub, you do a really good job with the separation there. It definitely adds to the groove, the whole vibe of this. Very nice synth work. I'm digging the vocal stutters. Really good job on building the energy in those builds. And very good use of automation. Um, volume automation, filter automation, that sort of thing. Um, I do think, however, that the drop needs some more interest to it because I feel like the drops were very reliant on the low end groove, and there wasn't really a whole lot else going on. You did use the vocal kind of as like ear candy and stuff. There is some like small other ear candy here and there, but it's primarily just focused on the low end groove. And maybe this is just because I'm not a particularly a fan of tech house. That's just my own personal taste. Um, but the drop felt like it could have used a little bit more interest and variation to it, just to kind of spice things up. Um, Definitely could use some more ear candies. I think ear candies and variations. Little fills and stuff. Um, Little beeps and boops. Little vocal variations. That sort of thing. Um, I put yeah, it feels it's I put here it feels like it's very reliant on the low end groove. Which, obviously that makes sense for tech house. That's kind of its whole MO. That's kind of its thing. But I think just for the sake of the listener, to kind of keep people on their toes, definitely add in some more ear candy and variations. Um, Additionally, I think it would be cool in this second break section, when you bring back in your low end. I feel like you should probably high pass your low end a little bit more, only because only because I think it'll have a much more greater impact when um, the low end hits on that second drop there. I guess for this like 8 bar, build, you kind of pull out the sub there. Um, so I guess maybe it's okay that you kind of have the sub here, but I think something different needs to happen in this section, just so that it kind of adds more interest for this break, because in a way this just feels like an extension of the first drop. Um, so we need something to happen here just to kind of add some more flavor, some more variation, maybe some more, tension, some more moodiness, maybe some chords and stuff. Ads be hitting. Um, Bearcat, did you get ads too? Do do do. Oof. Ooh. Ooh. Mhm. Got an ad about a wasp catcher? How fucking random. But yeah, That's primarily my only feedback. I think as far as like sound selection, this is a very strong, very very strong foundation for the track to kind of sit on. All you need is just some little spice on top, just to kind of give it some more flavor. Yeah, dude, wasps are fucking assholes, man. But anyways, good job, Bearcat. It's definitely a strong tune. Just needs a little bit more sauce to it, and I think it'll be great. Hell yeah, brother. Good job, Bearcat. All right, we got Monodef here next. All right, we're gonna do Monodef here next. After that, we got Charred. Then we got Aero. You said how to pronounce your name earlier. I'm sorry. Aerobis something. Diamond Blend, Furon Amhad, Leonard Ellis, Cam Likely, Degen, Giorgio, Random, Thicky, Denial, Housemates, BMOC, and Spencer Arnold. All right. And again, if you guys want to skip the line, you guys can either use sent you a burrito fun coupon. All right. Are you skipping the line, Spencer Arnold? Homie skipping the line. Okay. All right. I'll put you right behind Monodef here. Let's do it.
Listen live to your favorite underground radio station. We know you're craving that vibration of some sweet, juicy bass. Because this is a frequency right here for you. If you're looking for something else, just get out of here.
You want
it's working.
Dude, that was fucking sick from like start to finish. Um, Really good job on like the little minor detail work, like those like little samples at the beginning. Really cool concept overall. Like you said that this was kind of like basically just like listening to the radio or something. It definitely has that kind of vibe to it. I think it's really cool that there's like a concept and a theme here, and it kind of carries through the entirety of the track. Um, oh yeah, that's what I asked. Was this for the collab project at Icon, or was this just a collaboration that you did? Yeah, because I remember for our final project we had to do a collaboration kind of EP. Um, oh, just a collab with a friend for sure. Um, yeah, either way, it's fucking cool. Um, Second drop is dope. First one is though too though. Oh, you guys didn't do a collab project? That sucks, man. The collab project was pretty fun. For my collab project, we ended up making kind of more along the lines of like R&B, which is completely different from like the stuff that I make now. But I was working with like, I was working with two girls, two female producers, and that's kind of just like the vibe and flow that this ended up my collaboration project ended up taking. But I was totally cool with it. I mean, it was really fun to make that. Any hoops. This is a fucking dope fucking idea. People are saying that it's like complextro, mature complextro. Yeah, this is fucking fun. This is a really cool track. My notes here, really cool sample selection in the intro. I think just good sound selection overall. It's really well done here. Very fat low end, both from the kick and the sub. Very cool rave stabs. I think that's really fucking cool. Very fat drop. Loving the groove here. I think you do a really good job with the mixing. Even though it feels like it's like, I did put here, it's loud as fuck, but in a good way. Like, it's not loud, and it's not too loud to the point where it's like distorted and kind of just like I don't know, like just like crunchy and fucked up. It actually sounds fucking clean. Like, it's loud, but it's also really fucking clean, which is good. And I just realized that I hadn't had the ring light on the entire time, so now you guys can see my face. Any hoops. I think it's a fucking crazy dope track. Really dope sound selection. Loving the ear candy. I think overall super solid arrangement. Both drops are really good. The reality is I don't have feedback for you. I think this is really well done from start to finish. Whatever you decide to do with this track, whether it's self-release or label release, I think it's definitely at that point where you can start pitching it out. I think it's really well done. Good job, Monodef. Super sick track. Any name ideas? I don't know, man. The first thing that comes to mind is Radiohead. And it's only because I saw a meme today with Tom York. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know what to call this. I would say, kind of just go with your gut. Go with your gut and see what kind of feels right to you. It's your creation, so whatever kind of resonates with you, I think you should definitely go with that. But yeah, overall, very well done track. Mono Jeff, you fucking killed it with this one. All right, up next we got the man Spencer Arnold. Louder, please. It's always nice to have it louder.
Louder, please turn it up. Louder. Louder. Louder, please turn it up. Louder, please turn it up. Louder, please turn it up, 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 turn it up.
Nice one, bruv. The Wasps again. Spencer, did you get young Spencer Arnold? Did you get an ad again, or did you get an ad just like Monodef? Do. The Wasps. Not the bees. Not the bees. Spencer Arnold. This is a fucking dope tune. You know what this reminds? This reminds me of like older Dirty Bird stuff, like Claude Von Stroke. Just a huge data chug. You know, surprisingly, my streaming is actually doing really well right now. My Wi-Fi is kicking ass right now. Thankfully. Yeah, this reminds me of like older Dirty Bird, like, you know, older Claude Von Stroke. Definitely has that kind of vibe, which is cool. Yeah, overall very dope tune. I'm digging the vibes here, loving the sound selection, loving the sound design. Vocal is very cool. I'm really digging that vocal, kind of like a talk box sort of thing going on. Very nice kick. Loving the percussion. Really crunchy. There's some nice cool panning going on with that percussion as well. Oh, okay. Okay, just let me know when that ad is done. Done. Okay, you're back. So yeah, where was I? Loving the percussion, really crunchy, really cool panning on the percussion too. You can kind of feel it going like left to right. Nice sub drop. There was like this very specific sub drop right before the first drop. Very nice. Had like a nice little LFO to it. Sick drop overall. Really nice ear candy. I think true to the name, that a lot of those like ear candy stuff is a bit too loud, though. I think overall this mix needs, primarily my main feedback is that the mix needs some balance to it. A lot of those ear candy stuff, especially like right at the downbeat of the drop, there's a lot of stuff going on, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think it just needs to kind of be prioritized and kind of mixed and balanced a little bit better. Some of those ear candies are a little bit too front and center, and kind of need to be pushed a little bit further back into the mix, which I think it can easily be done with a little bit of gain staging. So basically just kind of bringing them down a smidge with respect to your bass and sub. You can have your vocal obviously be a little bit more front and center, but with a lot of the other ear candy and synth stuff that's coming on the downbeat, those can kind of be pushed back a little bit more, and it's very easily accomplished with some gain staging and maybe some reverb, because that'll kind of make it feel like it's more further back. I think it's a really easy fix, honestly. Very nice transitions overall. Very solid arrangement. Very nice energy overall. I think again, the sound selection and the sound choice, I think, adds to a lot of the energy here. So I think that's really well done. I put here almost feels like an older Dirty Bird track. Claude Von Stroke vibes. Best trick I've learned from mixing is stop using your eyes. Yeah. Overall, definitely trust your ears. A lot of times we might rely on our eyes too much. You kind of see a waveform and you're like, oh, that's super loud. But in reality, I mean, it's a lot of it is like perception. So perceived loudness is different from actual loudness, So yeah, I think it's kind of good practice to kind of trust your ears more than your eyes, I think, especially when creating in a DAW. Mix has been coming out dirtier though. Hey, sometimes dirtier is better, man, though. I do like a little bit of dirt. I think honestly, I don't really like when a track is too clean and polished. I kind of like a little bit of dirt and grit to it, it gives it some character. Yeah, and then I think the other thing that I was kind of note, it kind of feels like the second drop is slightly shorter than the first one. So maybe that's just something. Huge dirt guy. That's just something to consider. As far as the arrangement goes, maybe just kind of keeping them relatively the same length. But overall, I think the main thing here is just balancing the mix is basically the main piece of feedback I have here. I think, again, sound design, sound selection is all very, very. Keep dirt under my pillow for the dirt man. Oh my god, meme culture has fucking ruined me, man. But yeah, main thing here is just balance, a little bit of mixed balance, and I think this track will be even better. Everything that you need is fucking there. It's really, really well done. Good job, Spencer Arnold. Fatty, thicky tune here. Dope vibes. All right, we got Chard Secret Demo. This one seems a little bit short, only 2.5 minutes. We'll see what we got here.
Can you keep a secret? I think of you all night. Can you keep a secret? I think of you all night. Can you keep a secret? I think of you all night. Can you keep a secret? I think of you all night. Can you keep a secret? I think of you all night. Can you keep a secret? I think of you all night. Can you keep a secret?
You're just hearing what you want to hear, man. Yeah, you guys are just hearing what you want to hear. Um, that sounds like projection to me. uh, um, yeah, dude, this is fucking sick. Talk about dirt, dude. Like, just just in our conversation, we were talking about dirt. This one definitely has some dirt and grit to it, which I really love. Really, really love that dirt and grit. Yeah, you're definitely giving off Charlie Day vibes in this picture here with the cat. All you need is some fucking kitten mittens. You know what I'm talking about. Um, Huge fan of It's Always Sunny. Honestly, do love It's Always Sunny. It's a very quotable TV show. Um, yeah, let's see what the chat has to say. Da 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 da. The new rule is you can release box of cats only if you have sweet cat at home. I'm glad y'all hear different things when the words are in different variations. I notice other things too. Bada bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. Yeah, dude, this is a fucking sick track. Um, Before I started it, I said that 2:30 seems kind of short for a track, but the reality is that there really isn't any fat or fluff on this track. Like, it's very streamlined, it's very efficient, it's very effective, it's very straight to the point, which is really cool. And I like that it has three different drops here. Was not expecting that, and I think that's really cool. If you wanted to make this a little bit longer, you could probably get like one extended break section in there just to get kind of like weird and crazy and wonky with it. Not entirely necessary, but I think, it's something to think about if you kind of want to make this track a little bit longer. Um, Again, not necessary, but yeah, just something to think about and consider. Very fat kick. I like how this track starts too. It's just all vocal, and you're like, oh, where is this gonna go? And then once the kick comes in, you get like a nice feel for the rhythm and where you're taking this. And I think the vocal kind of complements the kick very nicely. It has a really nice groove and rhythm to it, which is cool. Loving the drop. The vocal works really well here. Um, I said talk about dirt. Definitely has some dirt and grit to this track as well as far as like all the processing goes. Really dope ear candy overall. I did put here. I think you could probably use some more transitional effects between some of your sections, especially going from drop to breaks. Um, Definitely something to consider, just so we have like a little bit of a lead in, kind of like it kind of just leads the listener a little bit easier. Um, and then talking about dirt, yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. I mean, add no, yeah, I definitely add some noise and stuff. There is a little bit. I do hear a little bit of like a riser or something in the builds. So that's definitely well done. But I think overall, just like between sections, between your 8 bar loop, 8 bar sections, just make sure you have some sort of, you know, noise and other junk. Um, I did like, I was gonna say, as far talking about dirt here, the vocal definitely has dirt to it, but it does also have a little bit of hiss at the top end, and I think you can easily relieve that with just a de-esser. If you can use a de-esser, I think that might clean up some of that top end there. Um, It did kind of feel like one long section. Yeah, that's why I also mentioned that it might be a good idea to consider to create just one extended break, either between the first and second drop or the second and third drop. I would probably recommend between the second and third drop, making that break a little bit longer, just to kind of get a little bit more moody and kind of give a little bit more rest and break. Um, yeah, I put here very sick vocal variations on that second drop. We get a little bit of stuttering and like pitch. I mean, it's kind of like you're essentially it's extending the time and like bending it, which is really cool. That was probably my favorite part of the whole track, honestly. It was just that little kind of vocal variation there. Very sick. And I also noted here, I love that there's 3 drops and they're all different. I think that's very well done. But overall, yeah, very, very fucking sick track. I really, really enjoyed this overall. Yeah. Good job, Young Chard. Very dope tune. Very cool cat right here. Thanks for sending this over. This was dope. Hell yeah. All right. Yeah, no problem. Aerobus. Are you still in the chat? Oh yeah, by the way, Spencer Arnold, I saw Zacosta in Miami. Yeah, he mentioned you. He said you've been killing it, by the way. Nothing but good things to say. Okay. Let me know when it's done. Aerobus. Uh, uh, uh. So Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, or Tobey Maguire? That's an interesting question. I was never the hugest fan of. I mean, reality is like I never really watched the Andrew Garfield ones up until recently. I think just for the sake of nostalgia, I think Tobey Maguire. That's the one I grew up with, which I'm probably dating myself by saying that. Um, but I think all of them have like their own kind of quirks and like pros and cons. But I mean, I would just say for myself, probably Toby. Toby irks you. Yeah, the reality is those Sam Raimi, Toby Maguire films were very campy, and I think that's the reality is that that's what kind of set everything off as far as the comic book movies, X Men and the Toby Maguire films. So I think just for the sake of nostalgia, I think those are like the tops. They're the tops. Yeah, Tom is. I will say that Tom did a really good job too. And like I said, I didn't watch the Andrew Garfield movies up until recently, probably in the last like 2 years. They were kind of just like unsung movies. I think they're pretty good movies too, honestly. But yeah, I think Toby was probably just for the sake of nostalgia. Anyways, let's get to Aerobus's tune here.
two-step. Footwork gang, hit him with a two-step. Gang. Footwork gang, hit him with a two-step. Footwork gang, hit him with a two-step. Gang, hit him with a two-step. Footwork gang, hit him with a two-step. Gang. Footwork gang, hit him with a two-step. Gang. Footwork gang, hit him with a two-step. Gang. Footwork gang, hit him with a two-step.
Nice. Very sick one. It basically feels like a marriage between like G House and UK bassline, which is really cool. Kind of it feels like a throwback night bass tune almost like 20 maybe like 2016 between 2016 to 2018 night bass, which is very cool. Definitely digging the vibes here. What does the chat have to say? All right. Trap horns and house. That's what I mean by G house. Little ringing synth. Sheesh. Like the B section bass. All the crime in the background. Love it. All the crime. Glad I stuck around for this one. Fire track. Need that one. Was it actually two-step in the second build? That little breakbeat there, I don't know if, I guess it was. Yeah, little breakbeat. I really love that breakbeat. You know, I'm a big fan of using breakbeats in your breaks. Very meta, you know? Overall, very dope sound selection, very dope sound design. Loving the drums, really solid G House vibes going into like UK bassline. Very nice respace in the break sections. Loving the drops. Really cool variations. I think you did a good job of, you know, keeping things fresh and interesting throughout the drops. Changing the bassline synth. Obviously, it was playing the same motif, but you were just using different sounds. And I think the sounds that you actually picked all very much so complement each other. It doesn't feel like they're kind of like disjointed or, you know, kind of wonky. They all feel like they kind of really mesh together really, really well. I think that's really well done. Really cool sound selection. Very solid arrangement here. I think it flows very well and very naturally. I'm digging the breakbeats in the second break, and then going into the second drop. I think maybe the second drop could probably use a slight more variation from the first drop, just so we can get a little bit more of a change. I didn't particularly notice anything different, but maybe here. Let me just give it a second. Listen.
Step.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. I mean, if it kind of feels like the second drop is a little bit copy pasta. Maybe one thing to consider is either a fake drop or what I mean by fake drop is basically just like pulling out all the elements except for maybe like the bass line. Let it ring out for maybe like 4 bars, 2 to 4 bars, and then go back into like the full force of the drop, so drums and all that stuff. Or secondly, you can just do kick and bass line. So start the second drop a little bit more minimal, and then go into like the full force drop. So maybe like two slight variations on like a fake drop. That might be cool to do, especially for like UK bassline. I mean, that's kind of like the easy go-to thing to do. Is like a fake drop on your second drop. I think that might help things. Secondly, you might want to consider adding in some different effects. Maybe even, somewhere in here you can probably add in a ride loop that's kind of like tucked in underneath the mix. So it kind of gives it a little bit more energy, a little bit more variation. A nice little ride loop is always a nice choice on a second drop. Adds more energy, more layers, more all that stuff. But yeah, I think that's primarily the only thing that I really noticed. I think your second drop just needs a little bit more variation to kind of differentiate it from the first one. But other than that, everything else here sounds great. Again, very good sound selection. I love the marriage between G House and UK bassline. I think it's a really cool idea. Yeah, Erebus, very dope tune. I'm digging the vibes here. Hell yeah, brother. All right. Do we got Diamond Blend? Diamond Blend in the chat. Keep it going, Diamond Blend. Diamond Blend, Diamond Blend. Yes, sir. Okay, cool. I'm going to go pee real quick, and then we'll dive into your tune here. All right, let's do it. I think the reality is I really love. I forget what that vocal sample is coming from. No, Leonard Ellis. I totally agree. I think the reality is that the vocal sample. I recognize that song, but I forget where it's from. Um, but I think it's a really cool vocal sample. The issue here primarily is that your main subline, your main bass line, and the key of that sample are basically conflicting. They're not matched up. So you're playing this like kind of lively, energetic bass line, but it feels like it's clashing with that vocal sample. So there's either two things you can do here. You can either try and get the vocal sample to, you know, fit in with the current bass line, which is actually far more difficult to do. Um, Basically, I think the easiest way around this is to tailor your bass line to the original vocal sample. And that's pretty simple. That's actually a lot easier to do, I think, in my opinion, as long as you know the key of the original track. If you know the key of the original track and it doesn't sound like you're transposing that original sample at all, you're not, you know, throwing it up a half step or down a half step or throwing it anywhere. It's basically staying at its original key from the original track. So basically, I think you should write around everything else should be written around the original key of that original track, that original sample. It sounds like it's like a '90s R&B tune. I definitely recognize that sample. I just don't remember what the track is called. Genuine. God damn it, dude. It was fucking killing me. Um, Chuck Shadow is rating with a party of one. Welcome, young Chuck Shadow. Um, yeah, I think the main thing here, like I said, is essentially tailoring the rest of your track and writing your rest of your track around that vocal sample, because right now it's clashing. I think once you kind of keep everything in key, the rest of this is going to be far more easy to keep like kind of cohesive. Um, I do think, besides that, that's kind of like the main point I have with as far as feedback for this track. But I do think, you know, very nice kick. I think your drum sound selection is very well done. Really nice chords, but obviously that's kind of coming from the original sample, so the very nice chords in there. Um, we definitely need some more power from the sub. When you do end up changing the bass line to kind of tailor it more to the vocal sample, um, some mixing feedback is definitely we need some more sub here. We're getting a lot of mid bass, a lot of, you know, mid range from that main bass line, but we're not getting a whole lot of sub, so we're not getting a whole lot of low end besides, you know, what we're getting from the kick. I did also put here is that I'm not a huge fan of the sound design. I think it kind of clashes with the kind of theme. You're going with like an R&B type of sound. I would kind of I would probably go with something more a little bit more smooth. I guess is the best way to describe that. Maybe like an M1 organ or just a regular old Reese bass. I think would be probably the better way to go as far as sound design, because you're starting with an R&B track and going with kind of like this more UK bassline kind of vibe. I think is kind of like overall just like a clash of themes. So yeah, definitely something to consider and think of. But overall, I think this arrangement is solid. I think, you know, intro, break build, drop, go into another break build, and then back into the second drop. Who is Architect? There are no genre restrictions. All that I ask is that it's a work in progress tune and not something that's already released. Just FY Izzle. But yeah, Diamond Blend. Yes, that's primarily what I have for you as far as feedback. I think, yeah, just make sure that everything is within key, and then yeah, you're gonna have a rockin' tune here. Hell yeah, Diamond Blend. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Do we have Farhan Ahmad? Farhan Ahmad. I don't think Farhan Ahmad is here. All right. He's going to the back of the line. All right, we got Leonard Ellis up next. Leonard Ellis. I know Leonard Ellis is here. We got Cam Likely after that. We got Degen. We got Giorgio. We got Random. We got Thicky. Actually, is this already released? This is already released. All right. Random, if you're in the chat, go ahead and submit another tune if you want feedback. Okay, we got Thicky. We got Denial. We got Housemates, BMOC, and Jake. And then we just got another submission from Architect. Yeah, and then per usual, guys, this track is private. Okay, cool. Per usual, guys, if you guys want to skip the line, you guys can just use channel points or send money to the bottom left over there. All right, let's go with Leonard Ellis. Feeling Free. Nice one. Very wonky, very groovy. Definitely that Leonard Ellis style here. Let's see what the chat has to say here. Do 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 do. All right. Um. Ugh. That's a that's actually like a good telltale sign is if you can hum along with it after the song is done. I think you have a very very solid hook. So well done with that. Overall, very nice drums here. I see that you have like a kind of like a reverb tail on the clap. Um, Maybe that's just my own personal taste. I wouldn't put too much of a tail on the clap. Maybe I would just do it a little bit more sparingly. Maybe just like for emphasis or for like a little bit of a detail. I might not use the long reverb tail on every hit, but maybe like every other or just as like a little accent here and there. But that's just me. Really nice groove from that bass line. That bass line is really dope. I really dig the bass line here. It's very cool, very interesting, very hooky. Is the best way to describe it. Cool vocal. I like the processing on that vocal too. It feels very gravelly. I guess is the best way I could describe it. Kind of robotic, kind of gravelly, but I think it definitely adds to the overall theme and character of this tune. Very nice energy overall through the break builds as well as in the drops. Really digging the beat boops, beep boop 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 boop. Really cool ear candy. You do a good job with adding in variations here, so you definitely do a good job of keeping things interesting here. Both drops, not just the first drop, but both first and second drop. I think you do a good job of adding in variations there. I think primarily my only pieces of feedback is I think the reverb tail on the clap could probably be used a little bit more sparingly, and maybe that vocal can be a little bit more front and center in the mix. I think right now it's kind of like tucked underneath a little bit more. It's kind of more like a supporting role. I think maybe like in the breaks and builds, it could probably be a little bit more front and center. But yeah, I think that's primarily it as far as feedback goes. I think everything else here sounds great. Oh. Oh, let me know. Okay, you're done. Um, so yeah, I think primarily my two main pieces of feedback are just the clap reverb tail. I think that could be used a little bit more sparingly, and I think the vocal can kind of be a little bit more front and center in the break and build sections. Other than that, I think everything else here sounds great. I think you did a good job with adding in variations and the sound design and sound selection. Yeah, just very minor things, really. I think this is a dope tune. Very wonky, very Leonard Ellis. Hell yeah. All right, do we got Cam Likely in the chat? Cam Likely. Cam Likely. Cam Likely. How likely is Cam to Cam Likely? Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Do 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 do. Make it more drunk. That's funny. Mm. All right. It doesn't look like Cam Likely's here, so he goes to the back of the line. Do we got Dgen? Dgen in the chat. Dgen. Dgen. Sorry if I'm yawning right now, guys. Been up since 6:30 this morning. Do 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 do. All right, Dgen. It doesn't look like Dgen's here either. All right, we might plow through the rest of these pretty quickly. Giorgio. Do we got Giorgio in the chat? Young Giorgio. You know, it's kind of cool to produce while drinking. I used to do it a lot where I would drink wine and produce. There's definitely like a threshold where you stop being productive though. Like I can go through a whole bottle of wine no problem by myself. I haven't drank since New Year's this year. But I can, you know, typically if I drink wine, I can go a whole bottle by myself. Sometimes even a bottle and a half or 2 bottles if I'm like really being saucy. But I've noticed that, you know, there's a threshold where I stop being productive when I'm drinking wine. And it's usually probably around the half, either 3/4 to a full bottle point. All right. I don't think Giorgio's here either. Do we got Thicky? Thicky in the chat. I saw Thicky earlier. Do 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 do. Thicky, Thicky, Thicky. Thicky, Thicky, Thicky. Thicky bro, Thicky bro. Thicky going once. Thicky going twice. All right, I don't think Thicky is here. All right, do we got Denial? Denial. Do 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 do. I don't. Denial is a river, dude. Denial doesn't look like Denial's here either. We might go through the rest of this pretty quickly. House, do we have housemates? Housemates in the chat. Do we got housemates? That's actually a pretty cool, you know, duo name. Housemates. I would hope you guys are making house. I mean, that would only make sense. All right, do we got housemates in the chat? I don't think housemates are here either. All right, do we got BMOC? I think I saw BMOC earlier. Yeah, I think you're still here. Okay, BMOC's here. All right, we got BMOC next. We got Jake after that. We got Dime. This track is private. Okay, just had to check. Eve. And yeah, I think those are the only 4 here. The rest of these guys didn't show up, so we shall see. fucking Christ. Dude, this is sick. I love the sound selection here. There's a lot of really fucking cool stuff going on. Yo, what's up, Giorgio? Dude, I skipped you earlier. I'm gonna have to throw you back in now. Yeah, that should be good. Yeah, dude, there's a lot of really fucking cool stuff going on here. Obviously, I think this is just a work in progress because it doesn't feel like a full arrangement. You got like an intro, like two kind of different. I guess you have like a drop and like a drop variation, and then like a second break. But it definitely needs a full arrangement, I think. And it kind of feels like it's already heading towards that direction. So the main piece of feedback is I would say, definitely finish writing this. Secondly, I can definitely hear some sort of vocal in here, primarily a female vocal, very airy, very breathy. Very much so, lots of reverb on a female vocal. If you can find something that works here, I think that would definitely kind of help you dictate where this track is going to go, moving down the line. But I think overall, this is a very strong start. I think it's a very, very, very strong start. You have all the elements that you really need. Very strong sound design, really solid like melodies. Everything kind of works really well together. My favorite part is obviously this really dope, and I mean, besides the like baseline sound design here, I really love this really moody piano. It's kind of what like I was itching to hear, and it came in like towards the end, which is cool. I think it's very good to have it for your second break. It adds a little bit more kind of moodiness and character. But definitely kind of like reel that back in and dive back into the energy in a second drop. But I think so far it's sounding great. Really nice intro, loving the sound design on the drop, really cool arpeggios. Obviously, like I said, I think we need a vocal hook here. This idea is very strong, but it needs a solid arrangement and flow to kind of keep the energy and momentum moving forward. And then I'm loving the piano break. Yeah, I think as a whip, it's a very strong idea, and it definitely deserves to be developed further through. Yeah. Good job, BMOC. Very dope idea. All right. Do we have Jake? Jake in the chat. Ugh. I saw Jake here earlier. I don't know if he's still in the chat though. Official Jake. Oh, shit. My laptop wasn't plugged in. That could have been catastrophic. Jake. Going once. Going twice. All right, no Jake, unfortunately. All right, do we got Dime? Dime, Eve, and then Giorgio. Dime, Eve, and then Giorgio. All right, Dime is here. Eve and Giorgio up next. Very, very nice, dude. I'm loving everything here. I'm assuming a lot of this was kind of played in live, which is cool. It gives us this nice sort of human feel to it, which is really dope. I think all the drums are very well processed. You have like a nice like room to them. There's a lot of really good depth to it. I think all the instruments are played really well. Guitars sound very nice. Um, I think overall the arrangement here is very solid too. Obviously, I think it definitely needs some sort of vocal. We do have this like cool choir thing, this choir part in the middle here, but it definitely needs some sort of, chorus, verse thing going on to kind of tell a story. I think the instrumentation itself kind of has a story already in it, but I think having a vocal in there will elevate that for sure. Um, Misguided says, I think some rocker emo splashes of screaming would be great. Maybe just some humming and then a few screams. Yeah, I think that'll be cool, but I think definitely having some sort of, vocal um, content just in general, I think would be the best thing for this. I think it's a very, very strong instrumental. No any metal vocalists, so kind of tough. Yeah, I think as far as finding vocalists can be tough. I think the reality is social media is really good about finding and connecting people. So it looks like Misguided knows some people too. So I mean, I would definitely maybe link up with Misguided and see if he can help you find some vocalists for you. But but yeah, I think the only other thing I would probably say, just from an instrumental standpoint, is that we need more sub from your bass line. I'm getting I'm getting plenty of low end from the kick, but we're not getting a whole lot of sub from the bass line. So that's just something I would kind of consider in the mix down. So yeah, definitely need a vocal and we need more sub. We definitely got some more. We definitely got some sub right here in this section, the kind of like halftime section. But the main sections here, here, and back here, I wasn't getting a whole lot of sub. So yeah, just something to consider there. But overall, this is a very dope idea. I'm digging the vibes here. Hell yeah. All right, do we got Eve? Here's my Discord if you guys want to join that. Okay, it's Who is Architect? All right, let's dive into this tune here. We got Who is Architect, we got Giorgio, and we got Jake.
I knew you were gonna come to me, and here you are, but you better choose carefully, 'cause I'm capable of anything, and everything. Make me your Aphrodite, make me your one and only doll. Like a dark horse. Are you ready for Are you ready for perfect storm, perfect storm? 'Cause once you're mine, there's something at you like a dark horse. Are you ready for perfect storm, perfect storm? 'Cause once you're mine, there's no going back. Mark my words, this love will make you levitate like a bird without a cage. Down to earth, if you choose to walk away, don't walk away. It's in the palm of your hand now, baby. Yes or a no, no, maybe. So just be sure before you give it all to me. All to me, give it all to me. So you wanna play with magic? Boy, you should know what you're falling for. Baby, do you dare to do this? 'Cause I'm coming at you like a dark horse. Are you ready for a perfect storm, perfect storm? 'Cause once you're mine, are you ready for a perfect storm, perfect storm? 'Cause once you're mine,
There's no going back.
I'm sorry. Try again.
once you're
Going back.
Are you ready for perfect storm? Once you're mine, 'cause I'm coming at you like a dark horse. Are you ready for perfect storm, perfect storm? 'Cause once you're mine,
Nice one, bruv. Dude, this is sick. Obviously this is like I guess like the best way to describe this is like a cover almost. Obviously you had the vocal re-recorded so that you don't get hit with copyright. The young Katy Perry track here. But I love what you did with it though. It's really cool. Kind of this future bass sort of sound. I think overall everything's really well done. This is a very very well polished track. It's very clean as far as the mix goes. I think that's probably a characteristic of future bass since it tends to use a lot of really big sounds. You have to be really good about mixing them very cleanly. Otherwise, it's very easy to kind of get really kind of muddy, especially in the low end. But I think this mix down is very clean. It's very crispy, very crunchy. I'm surprised this hasn't been released yet. It says here 4 years ago that this was created, and it's still on private, which is kind of, kind of blows my mind, honestly. Um, but yeah, overall, very fucking cool idea. Really cool intro. I did put here initially the vocal was a bit loud. I think maybe that's just because in context, it makes a lot more sense having that vocal be kind of louder in the drop sections because there's a lot of stuff going on. And as you know, in order for it to cut through the mix, it definitely needs to be louder. But I think just in that break section in the intro, it felt, in context, it felt like it was louder only because there was less stuff going on. Yeah, 4 years ago is crazy. It's fucking crazy. I hope you've been working on other stuff in the meantime and not just putting all your energy into this. I mean, because it definitely sounds like you know, put a lot of time and effort into this, and it shows. You know, it's very, like I said, it's very fucking clean. Um, really cool processing on the vocal, very cool stuttering and whatnot. I think that's very well done. A lot of your drum fills are fucking fantastic. Um, Everything has a very kind of human feel to it. Doesn't feel like robotic or kind of just like played in and stuff. Um, 400 whip songs they just sit on your hard drive. Yeah, dude, it has to become a practice. It has to become a thing where you're just like we can kind of get into this kind of mode and you know I could even get into it sometimes too where you become like kind of like a perfectionist and you're just like, oh, it needs this, it needs that. But the reality is you can kind of tweak you can kind of tweak on a track endlessly if you really wanted. But it comes down to like just finding a point where where you tell yourself like this track is good enough right now. Like, yeah, you don't have to beat a dead horse. I think you just have to consider when a track is good enough and just release it out into the world because you can get stuck endlessly on the loop and just like try to tweak something 1,000 times. Um, um, and just like go into a loop of perfectionism. But I think it's better to just like reach a point where you're like, oh, this is good enough. I'm gonna release it, get it out into the world, and let it do its thing. You know. Um, it's a rare case of that problem. Yeah, I mean, the reality is, like, a lot of creatives are kind of guilty of it. Thankfully, I've never been too deep into that rabbit hole. I'm pretty good about just saying fuck it and just like releasing stuff because I know I'm always gonna write more music and I'm going to make better stuff. So I don't really try to judge myself too harshly if something's not like absolutely perfect because I know I'm gonna write more music and the reality is like the ideas are infinite on the stuff that you can make. So don't get so bogged down in the nitty gritty, the perfectionism. Um, yeah, as long as it sounds good to you, that's really what should matter. If you enjoy it, if you enjoyed making it, um, the outcome shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter if you get 100 plays, 1,000 plays, 10,000 plays, a 1,000,000 plays. As long as you enjoyed making it, that should be what you should strive for because that's far more fulfilling than chasing some sort of external outcome, some external accolade. Um, you're gonna run yourself fucking ragged trying to chase something external. Um, just try to. The reality is, at the end of the day, you should only be trying to make yourself happy. It's really, and that goes for everything in life, really. Don't try to make music for other people, make it for yourself because ultimately at the end of the day you should be trying to make yourself happy and fulfilled. um but but I digress. That was a very philosophical kind of rabbit hole there, but at the end of the day what I'm getting at is I think this track is fucking fantastic and I think you should release it is basically what I'm getting at. I don't think you need to do anything else to this track. um it's very well done. It's very well produced. It's very clean. Good job. Um, Good job, Young, who is architect. It's coming out in the 11th. Okay, don't worry. Nice. Okay, cool. Very well done. Good job on the tune. Along with the full music video. Hell yeah. Love to hear that. You know, I've been thinking about making more music videos too. It's something that I've been seeing a lot more recently. It kind of died off, you know. But I'm seeing it a lot more recently, here and there. So yeah, maybe something I should start considering doing to kind of push my releases a little bit more. But yeah, very cool. All right, we got Giorgio. We got Giorgio, Jake, and Quacks, and then DGen. Sorry. We got Giorgio here. Giorgio. Excuse me. All right, while he shows up or not, I'm gonna go pee again real quick. Whoa. Yeah. Giorgio is here. Yeah. All right, let's give this a listen here. Giorgio, Jake, Quacks, DGen. If you guys heard your name, just stick around. We're almost there. Nice one, bruv. Nice one. Really cool sound design here. Um, Sound design, sound selection. I think the idea is very solid. You have really cool melodies here, especially with those kind of like background melodies. Boom, 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 boom. Um, chop the vocals to an arpeggiator. Yeah. Okay. Let me just dive into my notes here. Really nice kick. I think the kick is very, very nice here. Very thick. Very definitely has a lot of power to it. So for me, I think the rhythm of the bass line feels a bit off. Especially in the intro. It feels like one of the notes is dragging a bit. Um, it sounds like you were basically trying to add in some kind of groove, but it almost feels like it's thrown off. I mean, one of the notes is thrown off a little bit too much, so we're swinging a little bit too hard. And I think maybe that just goes down to kind of messing around with the timing on it, just so that it feels a little bit more natural instead of swung so heavily. But I did notice, funny enough, I noticed that in the drop section, the subline feels right. It feels correct, but it feels like some of these other synth parts, the rhythm just feels kind of off. It feels off from the sub, so we're kind of dragging and swinging a little bit too heavily in some spots, but the subline just feels like it's on point. So yeah, maybe just something to think about and consider there. Very nice hats here. Very nice ear candy. Very solid melodies, like I said. Very nice energy in the build. I think overall this is a very solid arrangement too. I think you do have a good job. You do a good job of keeping the energy and momentum moving forward. Very cool vocal, but for me it's very difficult to understand what the vocal is saying. It doesn't feel like it's very I don't know. What's the best word? Substantial, maybe. It doesn't really take the lead. It feels more like a support. I think it's in a supporting role because, primarily because I don't understand what it's saying, and secondly, like it's kind of, with doing that kind of like stutter kind of effect, you're not really getting a whole lot of tonality and weight out of that vocal. So it's not really being used very effectively up front. It's a nice touch. I think it adds some nice character to the track, but right now it's just playing like kind of like supporting role. So maybe either kind of use that vocal more front and center in like the break section so we can kind of hear what the vocal's saying, and then kind of use that stutter effect on the drops, or just find another primary vocal that's kind of taking the lead. Yeah. I said, yeah, I put here subgroove feels different in the drop. I'd replicate that through the rest of the track, so definitely kind of use that as like the lead for your groove on some of the other synth elements and stuff. And I do agree with Apotheca there. I think we could definitely use some drum variations because it feels like the hi-hat's very much consistent through the track. We didn't get much of a change. Maybe you can add like a shaker, tambourine, or rides, just to kind of get a little bit more drum variation in here. So yeah, I just played like 6 different sections and all I'm hearing is tss, 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 tss. So it's not bad to have that hat there the whole time, but maybe add on some additional drum layers so we get a little bit more of a change. Ideally every 8 bars, if you can. But yeah, there should be some sort of, variation going on, I think. Yeah. But overall, it's very solid foundation for this tune. I think it just needs some minor tweaks. Really, is all it really needs. Hell yeah. Good job, Giorgio. All right. Let's keep moving forward. We're almost done here. We got Jake, got Quacks, got DGen. Jake. Hell yeah, brother. All right, let's do it.
How come every time that I'm good I fall apart? Over and over again. Feels like I'm in the clouds and there is nowhere to breathe. Am I self-destructing? Oh, nobody is watching. This one is feeling very different. Falling endlessly. I can't get no sleep. Don't know what is wrong with me. What am I so afraid of? That I will never find my love. I just gotta hope that I find them soon. I don't like feeling lonely. It's always so draining. I wake up then I go to sleep. Every day feeling the same to me. When you hear rock bottom, who's there to pull you out? Oh, 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 Don't need these fancy things, just need your love. That's everything, and I need you now, keeping me company. I know that I'll find you somewhere, and I don't think it's right here or right now, or right now. Don't overthink everything like you always do. I'm moving on and I found a side, but it is the only thing to do. Maybe now you can focus on you. Maybe now you can be who you wanna be. Chase your dreams, gain everything, and when you look back, you'll say, hey, it's been a while. How are things going? Are you still chasing our dreams? Or did you settle down? Get married, have your kids around. You're just working a 9 to 5. Forget about your dreams and all the things you think about. There's no time for what you dream about. Silently outside, don't make a sound on that. I don't wanna be you, at least not yet. There's some things I gotta get, and I haven't got them yet. I wake up then I go to sleep. Every day feeling the same to me. When you hear rock bottom, who's there to pull you out? Oh, 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 oh,
Man. Oh man, what a fucking vibe, man. What a nice departure from all the oonts oonts and beep boops, man. I'm fucking loving this. This is a fucking vibe. It's just like easily listening. I could listen to this like in the car or something, and just kind of just vibe out. Yeah, overall, just really fucking well done songwriting, both on an instrumentation standpoint, as well as like lyric and vocal writing. I think that's all really, really well done. Really nice guitar, very nice vocals, really nice bass, and loving these drums. They're very, very, very subtle, but they're very crispy, and they definitely stand out. You know, there wasn't the reality is like there's very minimal elements here. All you really have is like guitar, vocal, bass, drums. That's really all, like 4 main elements, and obviously the drums is different parts, but you get what I mean. 4 main elements here, and they're used to very great effect. I think also the mix down is very clean here. Everything's definitely in its right place and in the stereo field. All this yelling, loud noises. Yeah, that really, I don't have any feedback besides, you know, you kind of already mentioned it. Basically, you have your main vocals in here. I don't really think the vocals need a whole lot of cleanup. I think they're pretty fucking crispy, and you add these nice little like reverb flares, reverb accents, I guess is the best way to kind of describe that. These like nice little reverb flares in there for emphasis. I think that's well done. Primarily all you need is like maybe some, you know, backing and some nice layers and harmonies. I mean, that's really it. But you have a very, very strong track here. The main vocal already sounds really good. It's really just like minor detail work, and I think this is gonna be a fucking fantastic track. Yeah, really, I think that's all it needs. Just some, you know, some solid backing vocal layers and some harmonies, and I think you're sorted. You're solid. This is a very well written tune. Good job, Jake. Hell yeah. Sick tune. All right, we got Quacks, and then we got Degen. I think, yeah, that's it. That's it for the night. We got Quacks here. Is Quacks still in the chat? Quacks, I think Quacks has been quiet. Quacks. It's Quackstastic. What movie is that from? That's Quacktastic. I want to say it's like Billy Madison or something. Do we got Quacks here? Quacks. Oh no, Quacks might not be here. Quacks going once. Quacks going twice. Alright, I guess if he ends up showing up before we finish the stream, we'll get to his tune. But for now, we got Degen. This might be the last tune of the night. Nice. Nice little, I guess like it's like a cover, I guess cover remix kind of thing going on here. Very classic Daft Punk tune. Um Primarily, I think honestly I think it's very well produced. Is the fact of the matter. Very nice drums. Um Vocal is original. I love that there's a lot of variation here too. Nice change ups. You have like basically three different drops here, and things change up quite frequently, which is good. Keep people on their toes, you know. I think which is great. Um, really good sound selection, sound design. Really good change ups and variations. Um, my feedback is going to be primarily mixing. I think the way you mix down this track, it tends to be more vocal heavy. It tends to be more emphasis on the vocal, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. However, I think in this case we're getting a little bit too much vocal, and it's kind of taking up the rest of the um, space here. So we're not getting as much power from the kick that we would need. I'm definitely hearing sub here, but we're not getting a whole lot of emphasis from the kick and the snare. And I think that's kind of where a lot more emphasis needs to be put in. So yeah, the vocal can definitely be a little bit more in the middle. Really what this needs is just like a proper mixdown session where you're kind of rebalancing everything so everything kind of feels a little bit more cohesive and together. Because right now it kind of feels like the vocal, like you have all of your other instrumentation kind of sitting down here and the vocals kind of sitting on top. Um, Whereas everything should kind of be like married and kind of mixed together and play nice together, you know. That's primarily my main piece of mixing feedback. My primary feedback is that the mix needs to be rebalanced. Definitely start with your kick and your sub first. Make sure that gets dialed in. Then go on to like your snare and then the rest of your drums, and then after that, I think you can do the vocal and the rest of the kind of instrumentation and effects and stuff. But yeah, definitely the emphasis should be on the kick and the sub, and then the snare first. Once you get those dialed in, I think you can kind of build everything else around that. Yeah, that might be it too. I think yeah, some multi-band compression definitely will kind of make the vocal be a little bit more present and front and center, I think. But yeah, primarily that's my main feedback is that you just need to kind of just get the mix dialed in a little bit more balanced, I think. And I think this is gonna sound like way better. But it already sounds good, from just like a songwriting standpoint. Again, very good sound selection, very good sound design. It just needs a proper mix down, I think, and it's gonna be much better. Hell yeah. I guess if Quacks is still here, we could do his tune. Otherwise, we're gonna call this one a night. Well, it's almost 10 o'clock, so. Around the world, around the world. All right, I think that's it. So we're gonna call it a night. Thanks to everybody who joined the stream tonight. I will be back again next week, same time, same place, Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. I will try not to be late again. I guess I just had a lot of stuff going on today, and it just kind of caught up to me. But yeah, we'll be back again next Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific time here on Twitch. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Monday night, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Hope you guys come out to some of our parties coming up soon and go check out some of the latest releases.